You're holding it like you're about to strangle someone, he said, his voice so calm it felt like a slap. I blinked, gripping the neck of the guitar tighter. I'm trying, I muttered, though it sounded more like an excuse than a defense. It wasn't supposed to be like this. I downloaded the app last week thinking it would match me with other beginners, people struggling with basic chords, fumbling like me. Instead, I got him, Ethan. He was everything I wasn't. Confident, talented, and unfairly gorgeous in that jeans and a white tee effortless kind of way. The first time we met in person, I swear my breath got stuck somewhere in my throat. His eyes hazel warm, like a late autumn afternoon met mine, and I froze like an idiot. Now here I was, sitting in his Brooklyn apartment on a rainy Friday night, guitar awkwardly resting on my knee while his fingers long, elegant, clearly blessed by some musical deity, hovered over the fretboard to show me the right way to hold a G chord. Relax your wrist, he said softly, and then his hand was on mine. Warm, steady, a spark that shot straight through me like a damn lightning bolt. I swallowed hard. Like this. He tilted his head, smiling a little. God, that smile. Closer. You're almost there. Almost there. Yeah. Tell that to my pulse hammering in my ears. The rain tapped against the window, a steady rhythm that somehow made the silence between us louder. I tried to focus on the strings, on the way his voice wrapped around me like velvet when he started humming a tune under his breath. But it was useless, every second stretched thin with something I didn't want to name yet. Why did you even sign up for the app? He asked suddenly, breaking the quiet. I hesitated. I wanted to learn something new. He gave me a look, one of those looks that sees through every flimsy half-truth. And maybe I thought. I laughed awkwardly, eyes dropping to the guitar. I don't know. It sounded less depressing than scrolling through dating apps. He chuckled, low and warm. Guess you kind of ended up on a dating app anyway. My head snapped up, heart skipping a beat. What? His lips curved into that infuriating, teasing smile. What? I'm just saying, you are in my apartment on a Friday night. I hated how much that made me want to smile. Instead, I rolled my eyes, desperate to play it cool. You're just projecting. Am I? He asked, voice softer now, eyes lingering on mine like a question I wasn't ready to answer. The tension hung there, thick as the smell of coffee drifting from the kitchen. I forced my gaze back to the strings, but then he shifted closer. So close that our knees brushed. So close that I could feel his breath ghost against my temple as he leaned in to adjust my fingers again. Here, he murmured, guiding my hand. Feel that? Oh, I felt it all right. Every nerve in my body screamed as his fingers pressed against mine. Patient but firm. His skin was warm, his presence overwhelming. And for one reckless second, I wondered what would happen if I just turned my head just an inch and kissed him. Instead, I laughed, shaky and thin. I'm hopeless. You're not, he said, and there was something in his voice, gentle, almost tender, that made my chest ache. You just need someone to believe you can do it. My throat tightened because for some stupid reason, that sounded like more than just about guitar. We practiced until the clock slid past midnight. Somewhere between G and C chords, the rain stopped, leaving the world quiet except for our laughter when I messed up again, and his low hum when he played something beautiful without even trying. And as I sat there, watching his fingers glide over the strings like they were born to, I realized two things. 1, I was never going to be as good as him. 2, I didn't care, because all I really wanted was him. The next few weeks were a blur of late-night lessons, coffee breaks that turned into long conversations, and small, intimate moments that left my chest tight with anticipation. Every time Ethan laughed at one of my clumsy mistakes or corrected me gently, my heart betrayed me, skipping beats like a broken record. One rainy Thursday, as we sat side by side on his couch, the guitar between us, I finally let myself relax. The tension that had wrapped around me like a vice slowly melted under his steady gaze. You've improved a lot, he said quietly, eyes on the strings. I'm proud of you. Couldn't meet his eyes. I wouldn't have done it without you. His fingers brushed mine again as he adjusted my posture. That touch, innocent, almost casual, sent a thrill down my spine. I swallowed hard, trying to focus on the music instead of the way his thumb grazed mine. You know, he began, his voice low, teaching someone is easier when you care about them. My head shot up. Care about them? His hazel eyes searched mine, searching for something I wasn't sure I was ready to give. But the warmth in his tone, the subtle curve of his lips, made me reckless. Ethan, he cut me off, pressing a finger gently against my lips. Shoo, let's just play tonight. And so we did. Strings hummed under our fingertips, harmonies filling the small apartment as we sat closer than usual. His shoulder brushed mine, and I found myself leaning in, drawn to the warmth radiating from him. Every chord, every note, felt like a confession neither of us could yet voice. As the night deepened, a comfortable silence fell between us. Rain pattered softly against the window, and I realized how much I had grown attached to these moments, to him. The thought of losing Thisoff, going back to the awkward, lonely life before him, made my chest ache. Finally, as I tried one last chord, my hand slipped, and he laughed softly, moving closer to steady my fingers. His chest pressed against mine for just a moment, and it was enough to make my heart thrum like mad. Stop teasing me, I whispered, half serious, half desperate. Stop pretending you don't like it, he replied, his eyes glinting mischievously. I could feel the warmth in his gaze, the steady pulse of his presence against mine. And then, in a sudden rush of courage, I leaned in, just enough to brush my lips against his cheek. My stomach twisted, my heart soared, and for a second, the world disappeared. He froze, then slowly, deliberately, turned his head, capturing my lips in a kiss that was soft, questioning, but full of promise. My hands found their way to his shoulders, then to the back of his neck, pulling him closer, needing more. And he responded, effortlessly, as if he had been waiting for this moment all along. When we finally pulled back, breathless and smiling, he whispered, I've been trying to teach you guitar, but maybe I was teaching you how to love me instead. I laughed, a little hysterical, and shoved his shoulder gently. You idiot. I think it worked. From that night on, everything changed. Our lessons became excuses to spend hours together, laughing, teasing, sharing stories and secrets. Touches lingered longer, smiles held deeper meaning, and every chord we played carried an unspoken intimacy. Months later, I could play entire songs without fumbling, but it wasn't the music that mattered, it was him. I realized that I had fallen completely, irrevocably, for Ethan. For his patience, his warmth, and the way he made me feel like I was enough. One quiet evening, as we sat by the window watching the city lights reflect in the rain-soaked streets, he took my hand in his. You know, he murmured, I was worried at first that this was just going to be awkward, a mistake, a fluke, but I wouldn't change it for the world. You're my favorite mistake. I squeezed his hand, heart swelling. Then let's never be right anywhere else, I whispered, leaning my head on his shoulder. He laughed softly, resting his cheek against mine. Deal. And in that moment, everything felt right. The awkward beginnings, the accidental match, the fumbling chords, all of it had led to this warmth, laughter, and a love that felt both inevitable and extraordinary. Because sometimes the mistakes you make end up teaching you the most important lessons of all. And for me, it had taught me how to love Ethan and how to let myself be loved in return. We stayed like that for hours, tangled in each other's arms, the guitar forgotten for once, the city humming quietly around us. And as I watched his hazel eyes sparkle in the dim light, I knew that whatever came next, we'd face it together, two hearts learning, growing, and falling in love one note at a time. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.